Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Bought a Mic, a podcast about movies. If you dare. It's Halloween. So happy Halloween. This is our spooktacular.
We're doing the scariest thing of all, which is recording a podcast on a time crunch. Right. Which I can't really imagine anything more terrifying for our podcast.
I'm fucking scared.
Yeah. I'm resisting the urge to not just talk for 5 hours without a break, but you know.
We are seeing Sam Raimi's Evil Dead at our local art house theater tonight. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, we got a little spooky catch up, some new stuff, some old stuff, some classics. If you're watching on the YouTubes, you can see my background is 1974's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So stick around for that at the end. But we got some catch up before then. So welcome. My name's Ernest.
My name is Hunter.
And I wanted to start out with a little thumbs up, thumbs down recommends of some new TV that's been out. So I don't think you've been watching a lot of TV lately, have you?
No, I have not. I was doing really good this year. I was just like, I'm not going to have the binge that I normally have to do where I'm like, shit, I have to actually see 10 things. And unlike Drew, I try to watch actual television shows before we do our year-end
Drew
podcast.
might have you beat at this point.
I think Drew absolutely does have me beat because I'm like, I could do that. Or I could like replay Fallout 4 instead of watching a show.
Drew might have you so beat that he's not here because he's on an Ed Gein hunt. He's searching for Ed Gein. Yeah. He's out in the world. He's like, I need to talk to this man, monster himself.
Well, I think that he boycotted this episode because he found out that Ed Gein wasn't actually. He found out that Charlie Hunnam is not in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, unlike what he was promised from the television show Monster, and now he's very upset.
By the way, did you see the clip that's been going around from that show of Toby Hooper, of some guy playing Toby Hooper saying like, we have to make the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They won't let us. The government is attacking Vietnam and they won't let me make my magnum opus.
I have not. I've only seen the guy who plays Hitchcock, which is like an abomination. We're going to have to watch this show. I hate to say it, but like we're going to have to indulge ourselves and just like inject rot into our brain for 6 hours.
I think I'm good. I think I'm out on that. I don't know. Maybe if I'm really bored, maybe if
you aren't a Sons of Anarchy head. See, I do need to be there to support my boy, Charlie Hunnam, as a former Sons of Anarchy ride or dyer.
Isn't he Pacific Rim also?
Yeah. Yeah. Mako, we have to drift.
We're drifting, Mako. I know your childhood trauma. Oh, yeah. Well, he's not in Frankenstein, but yes. Okay. So speaking of slop, I wanted to get a couple TV recommends out of the way here off top. Just to gauge, what you might be interested in, what our audience might be interested in terms of my thoughts on these, just to get the main slop out of the way. And then I'll get to some good stuff in a second. Peacemaker on HBO Max. This is a continuation of Superman, but it's also a continuation of Peacemaker season 1, which came out, I think, in 2022, which I thought was pretty good. I didn't find a lot of faults in it, but it didn't bubble up to the top for me. But obviously we love I love Superman. You were a lot more critical on Superman, but this is James Gunn coming back and helming this as showrunner. And it's 8 episodes. There was a bit there in the middle when I really got invested in this season and the story that it was trying to tell. So we're doing like an alternate universe kind of thing. By the end, not worth it. I don't think it earned its keep here. I think it's a little too James Gunny. I think he needs someone to sort of rein him in a little bit. I think in the context of a movie, it works because it's just you have that time constraint. So he's probably a lot more forced to rein himself in. But when you spread it out to 8-ish hours on a season of TV, it's just a little bit too overindulgent. And sometimes it's good to be a little bit overindulgent when it comes to James Gunn. Sometimes that's where the magic happens. But here I think it got away from him. I think he lost the plot literally of like the story that he was trying to tell. And yeah, it's a big whiff. It's not awful, but it's just there's not enough there to really recommend.
I'm sure that if you do have like a little bit, I don't want to say an allergy to James Gunn, but if you are not all in on his shtick, then the show really, it can ride on you a bit.
A lot.
I'm assuming you're in the James Gunn bag, and if you're calling it too James Gunny, then
right. Yeah. I mean, I think if you're a completionist, if you're trying to sort of rev up for Man of Tomorrow, which is the Superman sequel, then it's not a total waste of time. There's little seeds in here that I'm sure are going to be things that pay off in the DCU in the future. I don't know if the Lantern show that's coming with Damon Lindelof is going to have anything to do with this. That remains to be seen. But yeah, it's just like a shrug for me on Peacemaker. Alien Earth on Disney Plus, aka Hulu. I had huge hopes for. I was really in the bag for everything Noah Hawley was doing the past 10 years or so, Fargo, Legion, like even the downer seasons of Fargo. I think the 5th one, the John Hamm one, was a step up, but that was a show that was kind of like losing it as it went on. I think Legion as well, but that show, that's kind of its own thing. But I was still hopeful for Alien Earth. And right away, as it started, I could tell that it was just trying to do too much. It was just cramming a lot of ideas in there. And I respected it. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Maybe you're able to somewhat bring this all together. Nope. Didn't quite get there. Sorry, Noah Hawley. I think there's a conversation here of Alien Earth being possibly the worst thing that Noah Hawley has made. It just didn't click. There's bits in there, like there's one episode where he just does like an alien movie, like he just does it. He gives you what you want. He gives you the xenomorph on a spaceship killing people, but otherwise it's this story of these like synthetic android hybrids, these kids who have their minds implanted into these adult hybrid bodies. And they try to do this, sort of like a Lost Boys, Never Everland, Peter Pan hook type thing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. It's cool. It's a cool idea. It's an interesting new thing for this franchise world to try. But it just didn't quite get there for me. Solid attempt.
I have heard from some people, maybe like, not critics as much, but like just from the common folk, people who do really like this show. And especially people like what I've heard is, if you like Prometheus, then like you'll be more inclined to like something like this. Did you feel that? I don't know. I don't remember. Like you're a little bit of a Prometheus defender.
I love Prometheus, but there is nothing of that in this. I guess just the idea of moving away from the xenomorph. Yeah.
Well, moving away from it being just like, this isn't horror. Like these are gods that we're talking about here. And like that kind of the mythologizing of it all.
But they're not continuing anything from, the Michael Fassbender character or any of the ideas or plot points that Ridley Scott was trying to do with Prometheus. There's none of that in here. This is its own thing. This is set on Earth. It tries to do some interesting stuff with some of these rival corporations like the Weyland-Yutani, and Prodigy is the other one in here. But again, it's just too much. It just doesn't devote enough time to that. There's one character in here that I thought was really good. He plays it's a cyborg, and he's sort of this guy who's giving his life over to Weyland-Yutani. Morrow is the character, and the actor is Kumimaro Babu Sise. So keep your eye on this actor, because he is like, I think, the standout of the season, and I really loved every time he was on screen. So there's things that you could pull out from this as wins, but overall I think it's a bit of a failure. I appreciate the attempt, though. It was swinging. It was a big swing, but for me, it missed.
That's a big bummer.
Yeah.
I was so, this was, I think one of us drafted this whenever we were talking about our year, like
probably me.
List.
I can't
remember. I mean, listen, it's Noah Hawley. I'm an Alien completionist, so like I know eventually I'm gonna watch this movie or this TV show, but I don't know, man. The fact that you are like the biggest Noah Hawley head that I know, and even you are just very lukewarm to cold on this, makes me it sours me a bit on the whole thing. So it's a bummer.
Not a total disaster, but there is a lot of stuff in there that just really makes you scratch your head. Like, what happened? What did we do?
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Task. I would love for us to do an episode about Task if you get a chance to watch it, but I think this might be a lock for my top 10. So I'll definitely be bringing it up at the end of the year at Listomania. Fantastic show. Mark Ruffalo, HBO, from the same creator as Mayor of Easttown, which I think made your top 10.
I think it might have been my like top 5 or 7. Yeah. I love Mayor of Easttown. It's a great season of TV. This is like right at the very top of my watch list to check out.
For me personally, I think this is a step up from Mayor of Easttown. I mean, obviously, like the Kate Winslet performance is phenomenal in that. I don't know if the Mark Ruffalo performance is quite on that level, but the story here, the world that gets fleshed out, it's a similar setting. It's like kind of rural Pennsylvania, like suburban Pennsylvania. And it's a story about crime. It's a story about how this criminal underworld really ruins families and ruins people's lives, and the ripple effects that seemingly small criminal acts can have and how destructive they can be. And there's a lot of layers that get added on with the Mark Ruffalo character and the backstory, everything that you learn about him and what he's been through, and the trauma and the baggage that he carries. Ruffalo is amazing in this. I think it's a very kind of different performance from him. He likes to Hulk out, you know. He likes to go big, and this is a small performance. You know, he doesn't really Hulk out. He's just kind of sad and mopey. I
mean, even thinking about like his not giant performances, I think about something like Poor Things or like Mickey 17 this year. It is like he's making a choice. He's always out there. He's making some kind of choices. So
exactly. Yeah.
Seeing restrained Ruffalo is a little bit of a new flavor of him. We haven't seen it in a while.
It is a choice, right? It is a choice to not like divulge all of this emotion and keep it in. And I think it works, and it really pays off in the final episode, which I think is without a doubt in the running for that Wabammy of the best TV episode of the year. I ugly sobbed sobbed at this monologue that Ruffalo gives. And again, he doesn't Hulk out. It's not like he's been holding it in and then he has this explosion, but just the way, again, this story, the way all of the pieces are set up and all of the different themes that Inglesby wants to explore, the payoffs that you get are phenomenal. Also, just a great action show as well. Like there's shootouts and tension building. There's like little bits of like heat that he throws in there. It's also just a fun watch too. It's not just a sad, mope fest.
Yeah. I mean, that's really how Mayor of Easttown, like, I do like that the creator, I'm blanking out his name, that Inglesby. Inglesby, yeah, that he wears his influences on his sleeve. Like in Mayor of Easttown, they just fully do Silence of the Lambs at one point. Like they're just like, we're doing the third act of Silence of the Lambs right now. It's just gonna happen. And so like I like that. Like we can have kind of fun with this all. I'm very excited for the show.
High recommend. As close to a home run as you're gonna get from any of these shows we're mentioning off top here. So that's Task. All right, this one you have watched a little bit of. It's Mr. Scorsese on Apple. Yeah. I think it's just called Apple TV now.
It's just that don't call it Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, I think they dropped the plus.
Disney Plus gets royalties every time that you add a plus back on there.
Don't tell the Pluribus marketing team that, because they
are still putting plus on everything.
Yeah, all the Pluribus marketing still says Apple TV Plus. So
well,
I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I have watched all 5 episodes of Mr. Scorsese. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's necessary, essential viewing if you are a lover of film. If you know who Martin Scorsese is, if you've seen his movies, like, you should watch this. It doesn't like give you the full deep dive that maybe you'd want out of a Martin Scorsese documentary, but that's only because the man has lived and worked and for so long, that you can't fit it all, right? Like you need a book if that's what you want, right? So already at 5 episodes, like, you're getting a lot, and somehow it still feels like it's not enough, but that's only because he is just the GOAT, and you could give me another 5 and I'd gladly watch them. But I loved it. I'm curious what you think so far.
Oh, I mean, I echo everything that you say about it just being like essential viewing. Like I just started it yesterday and I like inhaled 2 hours of it. I was like, I only have a couple hours, but I'm gonna just fit this in there, and I cannot wait to watch this multiple times again. I was actually talking about this with Guy, and Guy's like, oh, that sounds interesting. I want to watch that. So I'm like, cool, I'll just do it again, because there's so many details going through his life. The whole first episode is before he even makes Mean Streets. So it's just about his life growing up, meeting all of these characters that obviously would come to shape the type of filmmaker he is and the characters that he puts on screen in his movies. My favorite part so far in the series is in the second episode, whenever we meet, I think his name is Sally, who's just like straight up a mob boss. The guy who De Niro's character is based off of in Mean Streets. But I'm just like, that is like, okay, there's like door A and door B. And like, he talks about like, he's like, no, my uncle like worked for the mafia. Like, he wasn't like a made man or anything like that, but just like did jobs here and there. And that's just the life that you're around. So it's like, no, this guy would go on to make like Goodfellas. Like, he knows this world. He grew up in this world. It's amazing. Just from some of the clips that I've seen about later episodes, I can't believe some of the access that they got, where they have like Daniel Day-Lewis talking extensively about him. Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't talk about like anything ever. Right. That's like his whole thing is that he's just like, I do a performance, and then I go back to making shoes for the next 5 years. Like, so having people like that come in here, of course, obviously you got Bob De Niro, you've got all these people that he works with throughout the years.
No Pesci, unfortunately.
No Pesci. And unfortunately, like using some archival footage for like Harvey Keitel or some of those, like some of the people that we like lost along the way before we could make this. But it feels totemic. It feels like everything that is deserved for somebody like Scorsese to kind of go through the life and give it to you in 5 hours. Like you said, I could use 10 hours, but it's just a great kind of run through his whole filmography and his life.
Hey man, Harvey Keitel is still with us. Don't I know, put him out just yet.
He's not dead, but I'm just saying he's not participating in this. Harvey Keitel's so old, man. He's they aren't like flying him out to LA to like do the interviews for this. So
it's directed by Rebecca Miller, who is Daniel Day-Lewis's wife. So that's a big part of the access, I think, is that relationship that I'm sure they're able to have had for decades. And it's interesting. You'll see as it goes on, the different settings in which Marty is interviewed. You can tell that each sit down, there's like another layer that is broken. in terms of that access and how willing Marty is able to bring the film to bring you, the audience, in on his day to day in his life.
I mean, another thing that's just like a good excuse for this show is to go through here and like fill in the Marty blind spots as I'm watching through this, because
Temptation of Christ, I've never seen it.
Temptation of Christ is incredible, and I have seen like a few different clips of that episode where they kind of go in depth about that, of the behind the scenes of that whole process is pretty tumultuous.
The worst so back it's so over of Marty's career is kind of the main through line of this documentary, is showing you how time and time again nobody wanted to fund his movies, and then when they did fund them, nobody saw them. They would flop over and over and over again. It's crazy. It's not until he works with Leo DiCaprio that he finally gets his Oscar and gets his like box office success. Because that had basically never happened before. I mean, obviously, like, he'd made incredible movies, and there had been plenty of times when, like, you got the nominations.
You get doubles. You're not getting home runs on these releases.
I mean, Raging Bull, I think, was Roger Ebert's #1 movie of the 80s. So they touch on that. So it's not like trying to say that he had never found success, but he struggled, you know, and I think that's one of the most fascinating ideas behind the documentary, is just showing you how, even though he was making classics, they weren't necessarily seen that way by everybody. And even something like Last Temptation of Christ, like, there was a very active backlash to that film, to the point where he had to get security and there are death threats, and it's crazy. I mean, we weren't around back then, so it's really fascinating to see it sort of depicted in the doc. So yeah, it's on Apple. It's called Mr. Scorsese. 5 episodes, and I highly recommend it. I'm very curious to see what you think of the whole thing once you get to it. I think you're on episode 3, right?
I just finished 2, so I haven't started 3 yet. Yeah,
I think it might be at the end of 1, where it's just like it teases Bobby De Niro in like the last moment of the episode. It's like this like mic drop moment. There's so many little choices like that in the edit where it's just like, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, I do love that is at the end of 1. And one of my other favorite moments is like whenever he makes his first movie, Bertha. Whenever he like makes that, he releases it, and then his like at the time friend John Cassavetes like comes up and gives him a hug, and it's just like, you just made a piece of shit.
Don't ever do it again.
Don't ever do it again.
Yeah.
It's just a great little moment.
Yeah. Of lots of great touches. The side by sides, when it shows you like 2 scenes from 2 different movies and they're like the same scene. It's great.
Yeah.
Great
and
stuff.
also, I mean, you just, even some of the, like the archival footage of like, I was just like hanging out with my friend Steven Spielberg and like all these kind of things. It's like, well, fuck me, I guess. Like, you're out here like the coolest and like most influential people of the 20th century. So
the Steven interviews are awesome. When you get to Raging Bull, hearing Steven Spielberg talk about Raging Bull, I'm just like, buddy, can I just release the raw footage? I just wanted the podcast version of like Steven Spielberg talking about Raging Bull for 45 minutes.
Out. Yeah. It's great shit. Great shit.
Love it. Okay, so let's open it up to you. You've been watching a bunch of spooky stuff throughout October. Tell us what you've been watching. What have been the highlights? I heard you have a little bit of a Friday the 13th project that you've been trying to work through. Give me the lowdown.
Yeah, so every year around spooky season, and I consider spooky season starting on Labor Day. So like for a 2-month stretch, it's just like going through here, watching. Of course, there are things that I'm just going to watch every year, like your Nightmare Before Christmas is, your Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Beetlejuice, things like that. They're just kind of like on the rotation, on the vibes. But this year there was a few different things that I wanted to kind of educate myself with for the horror genre, both in like the more fun, family friendly, spooky side of way, and then some of like the scary slasher side. I've done this the last couple of years, and it's been kind of a cool journey to learn more about different genres that I just kind of, like films within genres that I missed growing up. This year, I want to do it with Friday the 13th. So I'm going through and watching all the Friday the 13th movies. I had only ever seen the first Friday the 13th, and I never watched the rest of them because the first Friday the 13th movie isn't very good. Yeah. And, you know, that's kind of the little secret that I learned about the Friday the 13th movies is that I don't think that, like, they're enjoyable. They're fun. And I'm sorry if you're, like, a huge Jason head, but they don't really get good until the fourth movie.
Oh, like, wow.
I think that, like, he doesn't even get the mask until, like, the end of the third movie. Otherwise, he's kind of just, like, a bad Michael Myers ripoff. Like, and that's kind of exactly what he was made to be, is just, like, we just need something else. Like, slashers are all the rage in a post-Halloween world. Let's just fucking put this guy, Jason Voorhees, out here and then go from there. Have you ever seen any of the Friday the 13th movies?
I remember watching the first one like a long time ago, like maybe 10 years ago, and thinking, this sucks. And I just didn't watch any of them after that.
So the first one, spoilers for 1980s Friday the 13th, but like that is a movie that could stand on its own. It almost shares more, especially like towards the end as it unpacks, with something like Psycho than it does with anything else, where it's actually not Jason, it's Jason's mom that is like the evil entity that's killing the kids, and then Jason just becomes this like undying god. But where the franchise itself starts to get better is with the final chapter. We get a banger of a cast, including little Corey Feldman, and then Crispin Glover, who is, this is
like your arch nemesis. It could
hate Crispin Glover.
It could go so wrong with this guy.
Here's the thing. This is a movie that understands what to do with Crispin Glover. He's just a guy there who like is trying to get with a lady, and he just can't because one of his other friends who's there just keeps calling him a dead fuck because he can't get his dick up. He's got a dead dick. He's a dead fuck. He's like, I'm not a dead fuck. Don't call me that. It's good. And then little Corey Feldman's awesome, and kind of it's really the introduction to as a character to this kid as little Tommy that makes the whole franchise work. They didn't have like a true final girl or a final boy in these movies, and so outside of Jason as mass murderer, there's kind of no humans to cling on to. Instead, it was actively every human in the story doing the most like infuriatingly stupid thing possible. But again, that's kind of part of the charm of it. So like, even whenever I'm being like critical of the movies, it's like, who cares? You can still like turn your brain off and have fun with them. You're there for the kills. But 4, 5, and 6, I would say, are like definitely the peak of the franchise. That's when it goes full camp. 6 is the point where we start to kind of lose it and we go a little bit too campy. Like it goes to the point of playing for comedy, where like the beauty Manhattan? Of 4 and 5. That's 8. That's okay. Actually next up on my watch. Okay. I have not watched him take Manhattan yet. I'm really excited to see him take Manhattan and leave Crystal Lake behind. Fuck Crystal Lake. We got to take Manhattan. And then of course we're going to culminate with Jason X, where he gets brought back to life in the year like 2149 to
I love how they abandoned the Friday the 13th name and now it's just Jason. He takes Manhattan, he X.
Well, it is funny because they like bring it up on like the 4th one. There's like, oh, and you know what the date is today. But like it feels like a lot of the movies do not take place on Friday the 13th. So it's like the first one took place on Friday the 13th, and then we just kind of kept it going. It is cool. One thing I will say about the first 4 movies is that the next one will begin exactly where the last one ended, including redoing the last shot of the previous movie.
That's cool.
Which is kind of cool. They're not great movies, but they are like vastly influential to the genre. There's some sick kills, even in the bad ones, of just like Kevin Kline just like laying there and just getting a knife through the back of his eyeball as he's like laying on a cot after like smoking a cigarette after having sex. This franchise is like the movies that invented, like, if you have sex in movies, you die.
So horny teenagers
deserve to die. Yeah.
By a couple blade. Other like, it's always a blade, right? It's a stabbing. It's very
well. It's not like coming in with a gun. Yeah. It's not like I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you in the fucking head.
We're about to talk about Texas Chainsaw. That's a chainsaw, right? There's multiple methods that these guys use for their sadistic shit.
Yeah, look, you can be versatile.
Real quick, why hasn't there been a Friday the 13th movie in like 15 years?
So it's a good question. So it is the people who actually own the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise are like very sacred about it in a weird way for like how trashy the franchise is, that it's just one of those things that they did the remake in 2009 ish.
And that was
2009. Yeah.
There hasn't been one since.
By all accounts, I have not seen that one. That was not part of my watch through that I'm planning on doing, because I've heard that it's bad, and not even like fun bad. It's just like bad. Maybe I'll get around to it. Who knows? But I know that the main like production team that is around the Friday the 13th, the main family, have just been like precious with the rights. Who knows now that, because it is a Paramount property, maybe now with new ownership at Skydance, they can get him to push him a little bit. They've been doing ancillary non-film things with the Friday the 13th story. Like there's I don't know if it's like an MMO or like a roguelike
the game. Yeah. People like it.
I've never played it, but yeah, I've heard that the game is sick. It gets like it's pretty popular still, like that people play it on Twitch or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe
there's the show that's been like, did they shoot it?
I don't know what's up with that show, man. That show has been rumored or coming for years at this point. Just Camp Crystal Lake.
I think they filmed it. Yeah.
Oh, is it actually happening now?
They finally filmed it. So it's coming. Wow.
Oh. Well, good for that. Excited.
It's going to be a Peacock original.
Dude, the numbers are going to be insane on that. Oh, God. Man. And they were really burying it this
Peacock
whole time. They
might not exist for long.
Well, Peacock will exist as a tile on Paramount Plus. So,
yeah.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I don't know. They're fine movies. They're fun enough for what they are. They're amazing. Also, I said Kevin Kline earlier. I just want to clarify it was Kevin Bacon.
Very different.
Kevin. Very different.
Completely different Kevins.
Yeah, I was like, it's Kevin Bacon, not Kevin Kline. I had to make sure I clarified that. Couple other things just been watching through that either I hadn't ever seen or it's been a long time since I've watched. Practical Magic played at the Enzian out on the lawn. The most crowded I've ever seen our art house theater ever was for Practical Magic. Like you could not stand up and walk around in the lawn. It was so jam-packed. Wow. The girlies and the witches were out for Practical Magic. Great movie. Ghouls. Just an absolutely lovely movie. Wish I could talk in depth about it if Sandra Bullock had won the series, but listeners, that's on you. That you won't get to know more of my thoughts on Practical Magic.
We'll get there.
Just in general, there's been a few different movies that played at the Enzian that I saw. Another one was Ringu. The Ring, the Japanese version, the movie that created chain letters.
You will die in 7 days.
Yeah. It's cool. It's like not an amazing movie or anything like that, but it's very
Japanese, right?
Yeah. It's a Japanese movie from 1998. It's based on a book, actually, that they take some creative liberties with like what happens with it, but it's just one of the most like inventive and classic gimmicks of a horror movie of the last 30 years or so. That's still, you can see it kind of permeate in a bunch of movies today. It's cool. It's worth seeing, like, if you are a fan of horror, especially J horror, just kind of see that it influenced so many bad early 2000s American movies. It is crazy.
I want to see the remake. I've heard the remake is good. The Gore Verbinski.
Oh, with, that one's great. Yeah. From the early 2000s. So I had seen that as a kid, like a couple of times, like renting from a Blockbuster or something like that, but just never
Careful renting it. What was it, a VHS?
It was a VHS. Oh God. oh no. I'm a ghost. Couple other things quickly run through here. Rewatched Casper for the first time in like forever. Casper is a funny movie because Casper the ghost looks incredible. Like, it's still to this day holds up. Oh wow. He looks great. Every other ghost in the movie looks horrifying. Like, truly terrifyingly awful. Bill Pullman becomes a ghost at one point, and Bill Pullman ghost is like nauseating to look at. It's really ugly. It's really unsettling. The one note with Casper is at one point he becomes a real boy, and my biggest note on the movie is that he should have been like Charlie Brown. He should come out as like a big bald boy. I don't like, he comes out as like a twinky little hot kid, and it's not as good.
Hold on a second. I've definitely seen this movie. I have no memory. Why is Ghost Bill Pullman? Why does he look like that?
Have you've seen Ghost Bill? You pulled up Ghost Bill Pullman.
I'm looking at. So is the implication that when you die, you turn into like an animated character? That you no longer look like a human being?
Well, so you become a ghost if you have like unfinished business on Earth. That's how you become a ghost. So for Bill Pullman's character, he's a widowed dad, and he's just trying to like find, he is like a ghost hunter basically, but he's specifically trying to find his dead wife, because he's like, my wife is definitely a ghost out there because she had unfinished business for leaving me and her son behind, or me and her daughter behind. So he is trying to find his dead wife through all of this, and in doing so, he like goes to this mansion where Casper is there, as well as Casper's like 3 uncles that are just like giving goon, like they're just like goon henchmen guy, or just like, yeah, we're here to cause chaos. Like, that's just their whole thing that they do there. It's kind of dumb, but in like a way that's a fun, pleasurable kids movie.
I might have to give this a spin this week as we close out spooky season.
I will say a lot of these things for many of these movies that I watched this year, either for the first time or a long time, we're just firing up Freeform and then just letting it run for like 12 hours straight. And I'm just going to take in whatever Freeform will serve to me.
It's on Netflix.
What was not on Freeform were, I've been watching through the Universal Horror Classics.
Oh, the old one.
Those have been very fun. Yeah, like 1931's Dracula, 54's Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think Creature is actually my favorite of the movies for all of them.
Is that the one they shot in Wakulla Springs?
Yeah, shot in like right down the street from where we grew up in Tallahassee in Wakulla Springs. It looks great. It is very funny because it's supposed to be the Amazon, and I'm like, brother, that's Spanish moss from North Florida, but good looks. No, that movie, like, it looks like $1 million fucking dollars. Like, they did a absolutely incredible job. Shout out to the team that just restored that for the 4K. Nice. It looks so goddamn good.
1954. Holy shit.
Yeah. Some of them, like Dracula, still looks especially great for a movie that is almost 100 years old. But the thing is with some of those movies that they're slow, man. Because they're closer to like watching a stage play that's filmed than watching a movie. Just because the camera had to just be like fixed in one thing. It had to just be thinking about the blocking more from a theatrical point of view. So it's still great. Like as just even if you aren't the biggest like horror fan, I think that it's kind of a must watch to go through those, because so many of those films just went on to influence so many of the great movies that we see today. I've been actually saving.
It's a piece of history. Yeah,
exactly. I'm saving Frankenstein to maybe do a double feature of watching the original Frankenstein and then going to go see Guillermo's Frankenstein coming just in a couple weeks to Netflix. So by the way, why did they not time it to come out like on Halloween? Like why?
I don't understand Netflix, dude.
What are they doing?
What is wrong with them?
It was so like, it's stupid. Right there. It's just, that's such a layup for them. They're like, no, let's give it a mid-November release.
No, it's next week. It's the first week of November. It's going live.
Okay, so it's the 7th.
Yeah.
Then just drop it a week earlier. Do it on Halloween. What are you doing?
Stupid.
They're like, no, House of Dynamite is more of a Halloween release than Frankenstein.
Yeah. Nuclear War, that's fucking scary.
That's scary. Yeah.
That's spooky.
That's real spooky.
All right, shall we get to Mr. Leatherface?
So one other movie that's been playing at the Enzian that you did join me for.
Dude, shout out to the Enzian, man.
They've been on it. The 13 films of Halloween this year have been on point, playing some classics, many of them in 35 millimeter. It's been great. I will say, apologies to the Enzian Theater and to the table that I reserved and did not go to. They did play Cannibal Holocaust a week or two ago at a 10 p.m. showing on a Tuesday. And I was laying at my house and I said, do I want to go see animals get tortured on like on a work night? Not really. So I did not go to that one, but we did go see this one at least.
What was the other one?
Because humans getting tortured.
Martyrs.
Yeah. I missed that. It was a midnight. It's a midnight movie and I had work the next day. So
yeah. All right. So, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 celebrated its 50th anniversary last year. They put out a beautiful 4K restoration. That's the one that they showed. I had never seen this movie before. I was waiting to see it on the big screen. I knew that they had done this nice restoration. And I thought, what the hell? Let's wait. I've waited long enough. There's so much horror that I haven't seen because I've been just having to fill in the gaps as an adult. So I knew that this was a big one. It's heavily cited as one of the best movies, or at least horror movies ever made. So I knew,
even beyond that, it's like one of like the first like indie movies to break through. Let's like not just it's in the post like Easy Rider kind of thing, but it's still just like this movie cost less than $100,000 to make.
Yeah,
like this movie costs nothing. And feels like they are really in like somebody's house doing these things.
Well, I we joked about it at the beginning, but I'd be very curious to. I don't know if I'll ever watch Monster, but at least to like look into that side of the story, the behind the scenes, the real life inspiration for this film, and really dig into it. It's so fascinating, the circumstances in which this movie was made, and the America, the sort of the political climate that it was released into. Because this movie just has this stench, this rancid vibes to it. And there's absolutely nothing like it. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of things that it inspired and people trying to get back to the texture and the very specific sort of grime that this movie has. But watching it the other day on the big screen, it felt like you were looking into a world, a very specific rendering of a world that is what cinema is all about. Like the ability to fully transport you and envelop you, and really like in a very unsettling way, draw you in and suck you into this horrifying scenario, which, for as far as slashers go, is a very simple setup. Kids on a trip veer off from the path and are slaughtered by a crazy group of people in the middle of nowhere. Like, that's really it. There's not a lot else here, but there's something about this movie that feels like you're almost watching something that you shouldn't be watching. Mm-hmm. That you're being exposed to something that cameras are not meant to capture. And obviously, like, it's all sets, right? Like, it's all, or not built sets, but it's, when you're in this house, what you're seeing was put there by the filmmakers to tell this story. But it doesn't feel that way. There's just something about it that feels like they just showed up and they just filmed this place just how they found it. Because there likely are places that are like this. And that's what's so terrifying about this movie, that it's capturing something that feels incredibly real and incredibly dangerous. And the types of scenarios and situations and environments that you do not want to be caught in without, maybe a gun by your side or some backup around the corner to help you out if something goes wrong. And these kids don't have that. Yeah. They are way in over their head, and in pure, beautiful, glorious movie magic fashion, they are just fully just slaughtered, just sucked into this vacuum blender of carnage and chaos. And I have the I think it's the final shot of the film as my zoom background here of Leatherface in front of the sunset. And there is a beauty to this movie in a really fucked up way. I was so blown away by it. It is instantly like one of my all-time favorite movies. It might be, we always do our like top first time watches of the year. It might be number one for me. There's a couple, like Hard Boiled is also up there, but I was just I knew that it was going to be good, but man, like, this thing rips. It absolutely fucking rips. I'm so into this movie.
I'm so glad that you finally saw it. That I didn't even realize until the movie ended that you had not seen this before. So being able to see it for the first time in theaters is like incredible. I think, though, to your point, it's the way that this movie looks and feels. I'm going to make like a cross media comparison here, but it's almost like the difference between listening to a new band coming out and like their music kind of sounds like shit, but there's this beautiful charm to it because that's all that they could do was make it sound that way, versus a band like Weezer today is like, we're going to make garage rock. And it's like, no, the fuck you're not. You're making garage rock on your like $2 million instruments. Like, that's not the same. And they don't have the luxury for this. So it is, you're seeing it completely stripped for parts. Like, you are just relying on things like the shot that you're talking about. We're relying on golden hours to like make things beautiful. We're relying on real sets, real shout out to like the location scouting for this movie, because while they do set up, like they didn't just find a guy who's just like hanging meat in his house, but they did find truly dilapidated looking houses that just are in East Texas and decided to shoot at these locations. It is such an eye that is it's hard to even like fully put your finger on. And it makes sense in many ways that Tobe Hooper kind of this is like the biggest thing that he could ever make from a director's side, at least his biggest impact that he can make, because he's gone on. He has had a fine career. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you still have like your Salem's Lot, your Poltergeist. Like, there's plenty of other things that he touched, but you're never going to recapture magic like this in the same way that if you were like this band that just like comes out like a fucking firecracker, that this has been is sitting in your head your entire life waiting to make something that looks and feels like this.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
It's an hour and 20
even hour
minutes.
And a half? Yeah.
It's like an hour 23.
Hour 23
credits. And there's something genius that this movie does. And obviously, like, I think at the time this was pretty ahead of its time because there wasn't really a blueprint for this kind of thing. When did Halloween come out? Was Halloween after
79?
This?
Yep,
so Halloween
79
was after this. That's crazy.
This isn't even like you said slasher, and slasher didn't exist before this movie.
Is it the first slasher? By the
time this movie came out,
it might be.
Yeah, I mean, there is like, if you're going like outside of America, then there's other stuff that you can look at, especially in like J horror and things like that predate or around this time. Even like this movie takes a lot from like really low budget like B films and like things that would just become like full schlocky stuff, shit that you can get currently on like Vinegar Syndrome or some of these sites that are like movies that have basically been like lost to time, and that even the prints that we have are like kind of look like shit because they're on just these cheap little fucking 35 millimeter reels that have been eaten down just over the years.
Things that people probably didn't want to say that they watched back then. Like things that people were probably ashamed to say that they were into.
I mean, even this has something where like, I don't think this movie was big enough that it even got a rating at the time. But if this did, it would have gotten an X rating just because of like the brutality that you see. There isn't like rape depicted in this. It's not like I think it's a few years like I'm trying to think of when The Hills Have Eyes comes out.
It doesn't quite get original. To that level of that's like torture porn, but it is an incredibly graphic and gruesome and brutal movie. And that's some of the best stuff about it. I think that the way this movie renders its violence is it's done in a very specific way because it does the thing where it withholds for so long, right? Obviously, like it wants to crank up the dread with the hitchhiker sequence, like right off top at the very beginning of the movie, this hitchhiker that they pick up in the van, you're already saying like, okay, we're clearly in a movie that is interested in unsettling, fucked up vibes because this guy is just, where the fuck did they find him? He is unreal.
Shout out to Edwin Neal. That guy is terrifying. Truly just
so cool.
Horrifying.
It's so cool, dude. It's just like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like you shouldn't if you give yourself over to this movie, which to me is very easy to do, this doesn't feel like an actor. This feels like just a weird dude that they just happen to pick up and film. It's an insane performance. But yeah, the movie, the genius thing that the movie does is that it feels like it's really taking its time, but you start offing the cast off within the 30 to 40 minute mark. By the hour mark, by probably like maybe even the 50 minute mark, everybody's dead. Like you're really looking at a 120 something minute or hour 20 something minute movie, and the entire back half is just one final person left.
Yeah, it's the final girl. It's the original final girl in one of these things.
But the fact that you don't have to wait to the last 15 minutes of the movie, which I think, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I think a lot, especially modern movies, they like to do that. They like to wait until the end to give you that energy of like, oh my God, everybody's dead except one person. Am I wrong there? What's the norm?
Well, I mean, it really varies because sometimes you also get you'll get the other way. You'll get the let's say like the Alien side of things, where it's like, we're going to introduce this big cast. Everyone's dead now except for one person. So it's like, well, I guess this is the lead of the movie now. I think that one
takes
thing that
a
is
long
unique,
time. Like Sigourney, she's not revealed to be the last one until way into the movie.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think that one thing that is unique about the way that it's done, and again, it's a happy accident just because the budget for this movie is so low, but so many of them die very unceremonious deaths. So many of them are just like, yeah, Leatherface just picks him up, door closes, and it's like, next time you see him, he's just going to be laying in a freezer. Like, that's it. Sorry, I hope you didn't like this guy. This fro guy, because you're never seeing him again.
You kind of want him to die a little bit, because you're like, fuck this guy, you know?
You want everybody to die. Let me tell you, Franklin is the most annoying fucking guy in the world. I don't care that he's in a wheelchair. I hate that kid. I cannot wait for Franklin to die every time I watch this movie. Because he's just like, oh, Sally, come on. And I'm like, shut up, dude. I cannot stand this guy.
Major shout outs to Marilyn Burns.
You actually do get to see like chainsaws going through his body. That's what you want. You get a good death
directly through. Major shout out to Marilyn Burns, who plays Sally, who is our final girl. Who again, you just don't really know that she is like essentially the protagonist of the movie for the opening chunk, for essentially the first half of the movie. And then once you get to that point, then you are with her. You are with her in one of the most harrowing, unsettling, creepy, disgusting, weird, and funny sequences of any movie I've ever seen. She's in this house and they're all sitting there for dinner, and it just looks like there is a layer of grime and filth that you could not possibly imagine. Like it's like a level that, like, I don't know how you like production design that up. Exactly.
Like, it's just like you
have to just let it rot for like a year.
Of decay.
Yeah, except for decades.
Yeah. It's like they just found like a condemned house and then brought some props in, but there's certain things that are like the walls themselves look like charred. It's
unbelievable.
It looks demonic. And then that's
but again, you want it's a really sort of contradictory experience, because you're repulsed and drawn in at the same time. Like, you are so disgusted by everything, and yet you can't look away.
No.
And I can't think of many movies that have that effect, where you want to admire every tiny little detail. It's almost like going to Halloween Horror Nights, right? You know, like we go every year. We just went the other day, and you know, a lot of times the experience of a great house at Horror Nights is being able to marvel at the little details, right? It's not someone jumping out and grabbing you and making you shit your pants. It's being able to look and stare at the set design and the details and the walls and that attention to detail. That's what this scene captures. And the way it progresses, the way it's edited is just so masterful. The shots of her eye, the close-ups on her eye as she is screaming to the point where I was genuinely scared for her. Mm-hmm. Like, Toby, did you traumatize this girl to get this performance out of her? It's unbelievable. The guttural just yelling and screaming that she's doing. And it's like, you're wondering, like, oh my God, is she actually in danger? Do we need to send help to 1974?
Well, and I mean, you mentioned after we left that there is like almost this, dare I say it, Lynchian quality to Absolutely. That dinner scene in particular. And I think one of the big things that is Lynchian and also echoes kind of the feeling that you're saying is this dizzying pattern of repeated shots of like her scream is looped over and over again. Same with like the shot of the eye and the shot of the family laughing. You see the same shot multiple times, and it creates this very nauseating feeling where you just feel uncomfortable with what you are looking at. And that is before we even mentioned when
Grandpa?
you know when you meet the grandpa who you meet earlier on in the film, is like, oh, it's like a dead guy. They just it's like just like corpse. You know, a dead corpse that's just up here, and then they wheel him down there. He ain't dead. He's just he's drinking that sweet human blood. When he just starts sucking on her bloody finger, that is one of the funniest fucking scenes in any movie. It's so good. It's incredible. That's like the point where even the movie is like, it's okay, we can all laugh at this. Yeah. Like, even if you haven't been having as much fun with the movie up to this point, like it's okay to laugh now, guys. Like, let that release out. And I think that is a genius thing about this movie too, is that this movie is still fun. There's nothing about it that's like after the movie ended, Lee asked outside the theater, like, how like terrifying is this movie? And it's
she wasn't
terrifying
able to
in
see
that,
it.
like,
she was too scared.
It's scary in the way it like people like this do exist. And I was like, hey, maybe don't go out to like out Apopka, Howie in the Hills ways at night. Like, you know, maybe don't do that. Yeah. But I don't know. This is a movie that still has fun. Like, it's still there. There's a levity to it all whenever you're watching it. And that's part of the genius too.
Yeah. I mean, we skipped over a little bit, but when she manages to escape back to the gas station, and the attendant is quickly revealed to be just fully in on this whole thing, like that is real shit. That is absolutely real shit.
Another brother.
You are way out there, and the one place where you think you found help, nope, you're still in it, buddy. And that's very terrifying and very real. And that I think is part of the panic, the terror, the rot, and the deep, disgusting layer of America that this movie taps into. I mean, you know, I think a lot of the conversation at the time was this movie a reaction to the Vietnam War and the coverage around the war and the incursion of like televised violence, like all the war footage. And, you know, I think in a way this movie is an artistic expression of what America was witnessing and the violence that was being screened in people's living rooms.
Yeah. And good thing that we don't have that anymore. Right. Good thing that we don't have Monster. We don't have fetishization of serial killers on like a daily basis between every form of medium possible.
Yeah. But I mean, this movie has always been regarded as a very extreme movie, right? A movie that sort of signifies like the worst, quote unquote, aspects of horror filmmaking and the scariest, most unsettling things that you could show without crossing a certain line. And I think that there is a lot of artistic intent behind that. And I think that it's, at the end of the day, it's not a movie that's meant to just gross you out. It's not a movie that's just meant to just provoke you for the sense of provoking you or trying to make you puke or unsettle you just because. Like, there is this other layer to it. And yet it's also fun. I mean, Leatherface is a cutie pie.
I know, dude. When Leatherface puts on a little lipstick, puts on some eyeshadow, like, I don't know, he's got
a little apron on. Yeah,
he's looking good. Like, he makes the best stew in town. Come on, you gotta try his brain stew. You gotta try it.
Leatherface didn't choose this life. Leatherface is doing the best with what was given to him. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a victim too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a movie about generational trauma.
Yeah.
It's kind of the first one in many ways.
He's trapped. He's just as scared as anyone in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he, when at the end he gets upset, he's slinging that chainsaw around because he's like, I just want to do a little murder. Yeah.
He wanted a friend.
Shout out to the guy, the one truck driver at the end who gets no lines, really who just sees him and just like starts like hauling ass away from her. Like the moment he's coming in through the thing, like he's here to help. We never see what happens to him. I'm going to guess that things don't end up well for him in the long term, but
yeah, probably
because he is fully on foot. But
I mean, one of the other genius things about this movie is that other final shot of our girl Sally in the back of the truck,
covered in blood. Yeah,
I mean, that is just cinema. I mean, that little bit of acting she does on that truck, the laugh, the cry, the feeling of release, and also just terror.
It's beautiful. It's also not to go like full like film school or anything like that, but it also is just this incredible moment where, I mean, think about like the John Ford's school of like, you have to use like things like the golden hour whenever you want to depict beauty in the world. You want to show like what is serene, what is beautiful, and this, and instead contrasting that to a man with another man's face on his face swinging a chainsaw around and a woman covered in blood screaming in the back of a pickup truck. That's what you're using to have with this like very classical American idea of what beauty is just incredible. Like it's so deeply poetic and profound that I don't even know how you come up with something like that. I love it. It's beautiful.
It's incredible.
Great shit.
5 stars from me for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This might be one that I just watch every year from now on. I might just fire it up every spooky season.
Crazy watch. I need to get the 4K because I have a Blu-ray of it, but I think it's a pretty old Blu-ray. It kind of looks bad, so I'm due for an upgrade.
Well, there's a whole line of sickos that say that these kinds of movies, you have to watch them on like VHS or like a really just gross 35 millimeter print. You got to get your own projector and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to just do it that way. Let me tell you, and maybe part of it is the VHS player that I have, but we do have a VCR, and like we'll fire up some VHSs. One of them that didn't mention in my watch through was watched the first live action Scooby-Doo movie on VHS.
Oh, a James Gunn film.
Yeah, that's another movie. You got to watch it on VHS. That's how the filmmaker intended it to look. Yeah. It's so dark. It's so grainy.
Do you watch it on a tube TV or on the flat screen?
No. So that's the problem though. That's the other problem is that like VCRs, a lot of the transfer, it's too stretched.
Yeah.
And so it looks awful. Like you have to have a tube TV. Where do you even buy a tube TV now? They don't even like sell them anywhere.
Facebook
anymore,
Marketplace, thrift stores.
Yeah, I'm just I'll have a tube TV just like chilling next to my OLED.
I used to have like a tiny little like the TV that has the VCR player built into it.
Yeah,
and it's just like a single console, but it's literally like maybe a 1 foot. It's like a 12-incher. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got to go see Evil Dead. So that about does it here. Check out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre if you haven't, and let us know your thoughts on everything we talked about. Did we miss anything? What are your favorite spooky watches?
Give us some really like fucked up things. Something that's just like we don't want people to know this, but like really you got to watch this kind of thing.
Yeah, some extreme shit.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Please rate, review, and subscribe, like, and comment. Check out webotamic.net. Get every episode delivered to your email inbox. Join the Discord, patreon.com/webotamic. $5 a month. Thank you, beautiful donors, for supporting this podcast. Next week, we'll see what we got for you. We're on the verge of our new series. We still haven't finalized the schedule yet, so bear with us. But we got Frankenstein, we got Begonia. So there's a couple stuff coming out that we'll definitely touch on. Until then, keep it spooky and happy Halloween. Bye-bye.
Bye.